Hello students, welcome to RD Chemistry. In this video, I'll explain types of colligative properties and Van Hoff factor. Okay. Now, what are these colligative properties? These colligative properties depend upon the number of solute particles. Maybe 1 mole, 2 mole, 3 moles of solute particles are there. That means depends on the amount of the substance dissolved, correct? Amount of the substance. Nothing but concentration of the solution. So therefore, these colligative properties depend upon the concentration, maybe molarity, molality, mole fraction. Okay. So there are four types of colligative properties. First one is called as the relative lowering of vapor pressure, which is called as the RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. Pure solvent has got vapor pressure P naught. When you add this solute, its vapor pressure generally decreases. Okay, let it be P for the solution. Now take the difference. This difference is called as the lowering of vapor pressure. If I divide it by P naught, so it becomes the relative lowering of vapor pressure. So in detail we are going to study in the next videos. Okay. Second colligative property is the elevation of boiling point. So we are going to find a difference between the boiling point of the pure solvent and the solution, and it is the delta TB. Okay. Third colligative property is the depression in the freezing point. Here we are going to find a difference in the freezing points between the solute, between the solvent and the solution. And the fourth one is the colligative property, that is the osmotic pressure. We represent osmotic pressure by symbol pi. Remember student, all these colligative properties depend upon the concentration of the solute or the number of solute particles. It can be in terms of molarity, molality, mole fraction, whatever it is, the concentration term. Okay. I'll be explaining all the colligative properties in detail in the next videos to come. But before that, I should introduce one term called as the Van 't Hoff factor. Now, what is this a Van 't Hoff factor? Van 't Hoff factor is represented by the symbol I. Okay. The solute dissolved can undergo either association or dissociation, or may not undergo association dissociation. So the Van 't Hoff factor is based on these criteria. So what is the Van 't Hoff factor and what is the use? So to calculate extent of association and dissociation, Van 't Hoff factor introduced I, which is known as the Van 't Hoff factor. How to calculate Van 't Hoff factor I? It is the normal molar mass divided by the abnormal molar mass. This will come across in the experiment. Okay, abnormal molar mass. Also, there is one more formula: observed colligative property and divided by the calculated colligative property. Observed means it is the experimental value, and calculated means it is the theoretical value. Clear? Okay. The very important formula to calculate I value based on the number of particles produced after association dissociation. I is equal to, okay, number of moles of particle after dissociation or association. Similarly, divided by the number of moles of particle before dissociation or association. Let me take sodium chloride. If I take 1 mole of sodium chloride, if I dissolve 1 mole of the sodium chloride in water, but this will produce us 1 mole of sodium ions and 1 mole of the chloride ions. Therefore, after dissolution, I'll get 2 moles of the ion, 2 moles of the ions are produced, correct? So this is the meaning of amount of the solute particle present after dissociation. We think that is 1 mole dissolved, but particle produced are 2 moles here. So how to calculate I value? I is equal to, see here the ions are separated. This is called as the dissociation process. The salt undergoing dissociation or ionization. Okay. So number of particles after dissociation is 2 divided by initial taken is 1. So I is equal to 2. Okay. If I take one more example, wherein if I take a potassium sulfate K2SO4, this will give potassium ion K plus and sulfate ion SO4 2 minus. So I'm taking 1 mole of the potassium sulfate. Balance the equation. 2 moles of the potassium ions and 1 mole of the sulfate ion. Charges are balanced. Two positive charges and two negative charges are there here, correct? So therefore I value is equal to number of moles after dissociation. How many are there? 2 plus 1. There are 3. Divided by 1, correct, is equal to 3. Clear, students? Right? So this process also called as the dissociation. Remember dissociation. Now we found that for dissociation, I value is always greater than 1. So always you have to start with the 1 mole of the starting material. It undergoes a dissociation, will produce always more than 1 particle. So I is always greater than 1 for dissociation. Clear, students? Right? Now let me go for association of the molecule. Association of the molecule. Okay, let me take in general. Suppose I take, okay, 2 moles of the A. It will undergo dimerization. Okay, dimerization means 2 molecule will give single molecule. That means it will be in the form of A2 molecule. Such a process called the association. Such a process called the association process. That means if I start with the 2 molecules or 2 mole, it will produce 1 mole or 1 molecule. Clear, students? So I can find out the I value. I is equal to. So after association is 1 divided by before association is 2. So it is equal to 0.5. If I take 4 moles of the A undergoing tetramerization, okay, so I'll write tetramerization. Tetramerization means 4 molecules give one single molecule like A4. This is called the dimerization. 2 molecule will become single molecule, correct? So in this case, I value is equal to after association is equal to 1 divided by before association is equal to 4. So it is equal to 0.25. Remember, student, for association always I is less than 1. Clear? Right? Now if I take a glucose is a C6H12O6. Okay? If I dissolve in water, will it undergo association, dissociation? No, it will remain as such only, C6H12O6 only. But glucose is soluble in water due to hydrogen bonding. It will not undergo association, dissociation, simply dissolves. So 1 is to 1 ratio. Therefore, I is equal to 1 divided by 1 is equal to 1. Suppose I is equal to 1. There is no association or dissociation. Clear? And glucose is known as the non-electrolyte. Non-electrolyte. Non-electrolyte do not produce ions. Whereas here in this case, okay, they undergo association or dissociation. Clear, students? Electrolyte can give ions. Okay, right? The point to be remembered, for association I value is always less than 1. And for dissociation I is always greater than 1. Suppose I is equal to 1, does not undergo association. There is no association or dissociation. No association or dissociation of the solute particle. Correct? Right? So what is the I value stand for? Van 't Hoff factor. So I value tells about the extent of association or dissociation of what? Dissociation of solute particle, students. Solute, you have to remember. Okay? Don't get confused with the solvent. It is not for the solvent. It is not for the solvent. It is not for the solution also. Okay? So it is only for the solute particle dissolved in the solvent to give the solution. Okay? Right? Now, what is the relation between Van 't Hoff factor I and the degree of dissociation alpha? What is the degree of dissociation? If I take 1 mole of the substance, entire 1 mole will not dissociate. Maybe out of 1 mole, sometimes 0.2 moles are dissociating, 0.3 moles are dissociating. Okay? Because there can be equilibrium also. So this 0.2 and 0.3 is called the alpha degree of dissociation. So degree of dissociation is nothing but the fraction of the, okay, substance undergoing the dissociation out of 1 mole. If I take 1 mole, part of it undergo dissociation. Okay, clear? Now, what is the relation between Van 't Hoff factor I and the degree of dissociation? So, degree of dissociation alpha, I'll take alpha A, sorry, dissociation D, okay, is equal to I minus 1 divided by N minus 1. This you have to remember. Okay. So alpha degree of dissociation, D for dissociation, or alpha I will take dissociation and ionization one are the same, is equal to I minus 1 divided by N minus 1. Okay, remember D stand for dissociation here, D stand for dissociation here, or I stand for ionization here. Both are the same concepts. Okay, clear? So you know that I stand for here, I stand for Van't factor, Van't factor. Okay, then N stand for number of ions, number of ions produced, number of ions produced after dissociation or ionization. Clear, student? So this formula you'll have to remember when you solve the problems in the colligative properties in the next videos to come. Clear? Right? What is the relation between Van't factor I and the degree of association? Let me take alpha A. So degree of association alpha A, it is reverse. Previously I got I minus 1, so it is a 1 minus I. Also previously I got N minus 1, now it is a 1 minus 1 divided by N, you have to remember. Okay students? So here alpha stand for degree of association, A stand for the association, and I is equal to Van't factor as usual, Van't factor, correct? And N stand for A, N is the number of molecules, remember number of molecules undergoing, association, number of molecules under association. For example, I take 2A becoming A2. Here, what is the N value? N is equal to how much? N is equal to 2 here. N is equal to the two moles or two molecules undergoing association. Okay, right? Clear? Now we will solve some problems, students. Question number 1. Which of the following is not a colligative property? I just gave the types of the colligative properties, but in detail we are going to learn about all these colligative properties in the videos to come. Okay. So first one, elevation the boiling point is a colligative property. Depression the freezing point is a colligative property. Osmotic pressure also a colligative property. And which one is not a colligative property? It is a lowering of vapor pressure. Actually, it should be relative lowering of vapor pressure. The word relative should come. Okay, right? So the not a colligative property is the option number 4 here, right, students? Question number 2. Which of the following is not a colligative property? Depression, the freezing point is a colligative property. Osmotic pressure is a colligative property. Elevation of boiling point, colligative property. What about the optical activity? Optical activity is a type of the stereoisomerism. Stereoisomerism. Okay. And this does not depend on the number of solid particle concentration. Okay. Depends on the molecule itself. Okay. Optical activity. So it is with respect to rotation of the plane polarized light. Plane polarized light, nothing to do with the colligative property. So answer is option number 4 here. Okay students. Question number 3. How many ions per molecule are produced in the solution when more salt dissolved in excess of water? What is more salt? More salt is a ferrous ammonium sulfate, which means it is a ferrous sulfate and ammonium sulfate. Ferrous sulfate is a FeSO4. Okay, FeSO4, ferrous sulfate. Ammonium sulfate is a ammonium twice sulfate, ammonium sulfate. And along with this 6 water molecules, crystals of hydration, and this is a solid actually, this is solid. Student, remember ferrous is Fe2 plus, sulfate is SO4 2 minus, ammonium ion is NH4 plus. Okay. So when it dissolved in water, large amount of water, dissolved in water, okay. So what will happen? All these will undergo ionization. So this is a double salt actually. They give rise to ferrous ions and sulfate ions, correct? From the ferrous sulfate, from the ammonium sulfate, 2 moles of the ammonium ions are produced, and sulfate is also produced, okay. And these water molecules goes along with the water taken here. So 1 ferrous, 1 sulfate, 2 ammonium, and again 1 sulfate. So count the number of ions, total number of ions. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So altogether 5 ions are produced per molecule of ferrous ammonium sulfate. Okay student. So what is the answer? Answer is option number 4. Clear? Question number when an electrolyte dissociated in the solution, Van't Hoff factor is, very simple question, for dissociation I is always greater than 1, correct? So the answer is option number 2, clear? Question number 5. Van't Hoff factor I accounts for, okay? So we speak with respect to the solute particles in the solution, solute. So it is the extent of association or extent of dissociation of solute particle in the solution. So the appropriate answer is, it cannot be solubility, it cannot be dissolution solubility. Then we have got mobility, no, not the velocity. So remaining is the important one is the extent of either association or dissociation of solute particle in the solution. So answer is option number 2. Okay, right? Question number 6. Which among the following equimolar solutions have Van't Hoff factor the lowest value, has the lowest value? Okay, so let me take to the first one. Remember the valencies. First one, aluminium 3 plus, student. Chloride is -1, so I'll write AlCl3. So if I take 1 mole, okay, so to give aluminium 3 plus 3 chloride ions, correct, students? So Van't Hoff factor I is equal to, assuming it is a strong electrolyte dissociate completely, to give 1 plus 3, so 4 divided by initial is 1, so it is equal to 4 are there, right? Second one, potassium sulfate, potassium valency plus 1, sulfate is SO4, 2 minus, cross multiply, it becomes K2SO4. So let me take 1 mole of the starting material to give 2 potassium ions and 1 sulfate ions, correct, students? So how many ions are produced altogether? 2 plus 1, 3, divided by initial is 1, it is equal to 3, okay? So third one, ammonium chloride. Ammonium is a NH4 plus, chloride is a Cl minus 1. So if I take a 1 molar ammonium chloride, it will give ammonium ion plus chloride ion. So it gives 1 plus 1. Okay. So I is equal to 2 ions are produced per mole of the starting material. It is equal to 2. Last one, fourth one is urea. Urea is the organic compound with the formula NH2CONH2. Okay. When dissolved in water, what will happen? It dissolves due to hydrogen bonding, but it not undergo dissociation association, simply dissolves. So it will be remaining as 1:1. Okay. So urea is with the dissolved form, aqueous solution it is. Okay. Clear, student? Remember, it is a non-electrolyte. Non-electrolyte do not undergo any dissociation. They do not give ions. They remain as such. So I is equal to, after dissociation 1, okay, after dissolution 1 and before dissolution also 1, 1:1 ratio 1, okay. So the answer is which one? The lowest value for urea. Clear, right? Students, like the videos, share the videos, and please do subscribe RD Chemistry YouTube channel as well as the Telegram channel. And thank you for watching.